High on a hill stood an old asylum. It was dark and ominous. No one dared to go near it. Stories circulated about it being haunted. We were just kids, but we were drawn to the mystery. One night, we decided to explore the abandoned asylum. We were foolish and naive. The iron gates creaked as we pushed them open. The air was thick with dread. A heavy silence hung over the place. We tiptoed through the overgrown yard. The windows of the asylum were boarded up. It was like the building itself was trying to keep us out. We found a broken window, its jagged edges glinting ominously in the dim light. The glass shards scattered on the ground told a story of sudden violence, or perhaps a desperate escape. We hesitated for a moment, exchanging nervous glances before deciding to climb inside. The air was cold and damp, sending shivers down our spines. It felt as if the house itself was breathing, exhaling a chill that seeped into our bones. Dust covered everything, from the old furniture to the cobweb-laden corners. Each step we took stirred up clouds of particles, making it hard to see and even harder to breathe. We could hear our own hearts beating, a rhythmic reminder of our growing fear. We explored each room carefully, our footsteps echoing in the eerie silence. Each one was empty and decaying, filled with the remnants of a life long forgotten. The wallpaper peeled away in strips, and the floorboards creaked under our weight, as if protesting our intrusion. As we rounded a corner, I saw something move in the shadows. It was a quick, almost imperceptible movement, but it was enough to make my heart race. The shadows seemed to dance and shift, playing tricks on our eyes. It was just a fleeting glimpse, a shadowy figure that disappeared as quickly as it had appeared. We stood frozen, straining our eyes and ears for any sign of what we had just seen. The house seemed to hold its breath, waiting for our next move. We whispered to each other, trying to make sense of the situation. Our voices were barely audible, as if we were afraid of disturbing the silence that enveloped us. Holding hands, we moved forward cautiously, every creak and groan of the house amplifying our anxiety. In one of the rooms, we found remnants of the past, an old photograph, a dusty book, and a broken toy. These relics of a bygone era added to the haunting atmosphere, making us wonder about the lives that once filled this house with laughter and love. We decided it was time to leave. The house, with its eerie silence and shadowy corners, had given us enough scares for one day. As we exited, we couldn't shake off the feeling that we were being watched, that the house was alive and aware of our presence. We ran until the house was just a silhouette against the setting sun. The experience left us with more questions than answers, and a lingering sense of unease. What was that? We may never know, but the memory of that day will stay with us forever. I froze, my blood turning to ice. The shape was gone as quickly as it appeared, but I knew I had seen something. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream echoed through the halls. It was so close, we were paralyzed with fear. Section 5. Running in the dark. The hallway was eerily silent, save for the sound of our hurried footsteps echoing off the walls. The darkness seemed to swallow us whole, making it hard to see more than a few feet ahead. We could feel the cold, damp air clinging to our skin, sending shivers down our spines. We didn't wait to see what had made the sound. It was a low, guttural noise that sent chills down our spines. Our instincts kicked in, and we knew we had to move. The fear was palpable, and we could almost taste it in the air. Every creak and groan of the old building seemed amplified in the silence. We ran blindly through the dark corridors. The walls seemed to close in on us, and the narrow passageways twisted and turned, making it easy to lose our sense of direction. Our breaths came in short, ragged gasps as we pushed ourselves to keep going. The only thing that mattered was getting away from whatever was behind us. Our hearts pounded in our chests. It felt like they might burst from the sheer terror and exertion. The adrenaline coursing through our veins kept us moving, even when our legs felt like they might give out. We could hear each other's laboured breathing, a constant reminder that we were not alone in this nightmare. We stumbled and fell, but we didn't stop. Each time one of us hit the ground, we scrambled back to our feet, driven by the fear of what might happen if we stayed down. The floor was cold and unforgiving, but the pain was a small price to pay for the chance to escape. We urged each other on, shouting words of encouragement through the darkness. We had to get out of that place. The thought of freedom was the only thing that kept us going. We could see a faint light in the distance, a beacon of hope in the otherwise impenetrable darkness. Our pace quickened as we neared the exit, our hearts filled with a mixture of fear and anticipation. The door was so close and we could almost taste the fresh air on the other side. The scream was still ringing in our ears. It was a haunting reminder of the danger we were fleeing from. The sound seemed to follow us, growing louder and more insistent with each passing second. We covered our ears trying to block it out, but it was no use. The scream was a part of us now, a constant companion in our desperate bid for freedom. Section 6. Back at the gate. We finally found our way back to the broken window. We scrambled out, cutting ourselves on the broken glass. We didn't care. We ran until we reached the iron gates. We slammed them shut behind us, the sound echoing in the night. We were safe. Section 7. Just a dream? We never spoke about that night again. We tried to forget the terror we had felt, but the memory lingered. Sometimes, late at night, I would wake up in a cold sweat. I could still hear the scream. Was it real, or was it just a dream? Section 8. The next day. The next day, we went back to the asylum. We needed to know what we had seen. We needed answers. We found the room where I had seen the shadow. There was nothing there. But on the floor, we found a small, dusty doll. Section 9. The truth is out there. This is a tale that delves deep into the unknown, where the line between reality and imagination blurs. It is a story that will take you on a journey through the eerie and the unexplained, where every shadow hides a secret and every whisper tells a tale. The doll was old and worn. Its fabric was frayed and its colours had faded with time. It sat in the corner of the dusty room, forgotten by the world. But there was something about it that drew me in, something that made me feel as though it had a story to tell. The room itself was filled with an air of mystery, as if it held the secrets of the past within its walls. It had a sad, painted face. The expression was one of sorrow and longing, as if it had witnessed countless tales of joy and heartbreak. The eyes, though merely painted on, seemed to follow me around the room, watching my every move. It was as if the doll was alive, silently pleading for someone to listen to its story. As I picked it up, I felt a chill run down my spine. It felt familiar somehow. The weight of the doll in my hands was oddly comforting, yet unsettling at the same time. Memories of my childhood began to flood back. Memories of a time when I believed in the magic of the unknown. The doll seemed to be a key to unlocking those forgotten memories, a bridge to a past that I had long since buried. We left the asylum that day with more questions than answers. The place was a labyrinth of secrets, each room holding a piece of a puzzle that we were desperate to solve. The air was thick with the weight of the past, and every creak of the floorboards seemed to whisper tales of those who had walked these halls before us. We knew that the answers we sought were hidden somewhere within the walls of that haunted asylum, but finding them would be a journey in itself. But one thing was certain: we would never forget our night in the haunted asylum. The experience had left an indelible mark on our souls, a reminder of the thin veil that separates the known from the unknown. As we walked away, the asylum loomed behind us, a silent sentinel guarding its secrets. We couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched, that the spirits of the past were still with us, guiding us towards the truth. The truth was out there, hidden in the shadows. It was a truth that defied logic and reason, a truth that could only be understood by those who dared to look beyond the surface. The shadows danced around us, whispering secrets that only the brave could decipher. We knew that our journey was far from over, that the answers we sought were still out there, waiting to be discovered. And so, with a sense of determination and a hint of trepidation, we continued our quest, knowing that the truth was out there, waiting for us to find it.